Hello again, this is Verde, and today we're playing a little bit more boosted survivors. I actually wanted to play that build that I mentioned recently, which was Landmine Magic Missile. Let's see what that does, right? My current idea here is to basically reduce the Magic Missile's speed so much that it becomes stationary. Knockback there, I don't think it would be a good idea. Actually, let's reduce their charges too, right? We do. We don't care about distance at all. So let's. Between removing it and increasing sword range a little bit. Yeah, let's increase sword range just a tad bit. Nah, I don't know if you have noticed that, but I changed the lighting a little bit. Now the lighting is to my left side instead of my right side. That makes it so that I can see the waves, the wave timer. Not the wave timer, but the wave thing over there. I'll actually increase the size a little bit of the magic missile. So we're looking for a single, very specific legendary, which is called... Which is... Well, I forgot the name of it, but... Magic Mushroom or Mushroom Cap or Magic Cap. Something along those lines, you know? I always forget. I have no idea why I am so bad with names in this game, but I am. I guess. So none of this really helps us, so let's remove size. I'm not increasing armor yet, quite yet, but I will eventually. The sword is very good, so I don't need to care that much. I will only be picking green stuff for the sword. Or purple, perhaps. So that it doesn't get in our way, but at the same time it gets some boosts here and there. You know? So what do we want here? There's nothing we really need here. Like, nothing here really helps us, so I guess I'll get vampirism. It's something, right? I haven't gotten a single speed downgrade yet, and we need... how many? 8 of them. So there's that. You know? I haven't gotten much, but honestly, we don't need to. We can take it slow, right? We got purple region, so we're probably fine for this map in general. And I'm doing this with Mushroom Cap specifically because I believe it would be somewhat weak, the landmine build. For some reasons. Let me iterate on those before I don't want to be getting this. Nothing here really helps. Anyway. So. Let me iterate why I believe it won't be the strongest build on Earth. First of all, well, it doesn't really work that well with homing and stuff that may allow us to hit enemies far away from us, which might be an issue because, well, enemies are often far away from us, and some enemies don't even move all that much, like snipers. So we can't lure them into our landmines that easily. Therefore, being able to create a lot of landmines is nice. Another thing that I am thinking on those regards is that perhaps we can... What's the name of it? Perhaps we can... use lightnings to pull enemies into our landmines. That perhaps can work. And you know, landmines are known for exploding, right? So, yeah. It is not a strong build. We'll be making it work by the sheer violence. Wait, you know, we will be making it work. Yeah, I got minus the speed there, but at the same time, green armor. And we don't even have our magic cap yet. Which, oh yeah, another reason why I believe it is somewhat weak is that some upgrades for magic missile become questionably useless, you know? In the sense that, for instance, let me iterate over some of them. One of them is homing. Well, it's not my projectiles that are going to move, so homing really does not help out that much. It helps while we have positive speed, you know, it helps. But once we get to that number, there we go, we got the right number of charges, we can delete it if it shows up. Anyway, if we get, while we don't get to the right number of speed, which is 0, homing could be useful, you know, but probably won't. You know, it is a temporary upgrade. So I don't know if I like that, to be honest, getting homing. And Pierce is useful because multiple enemies can step into the same landmine, you know. And there is another thing. If we lag the game, the projectiles will not disappear for themselves, will they? And perhaps, now I'm thinking, the projectile has distance, right? What if we have negative speed on our projectile? Will they last forever? I don't know. I have no idea. I can test it this run because I'll be having 0 speed anyway. So getting it to negative 25 just to test a thing might be interesting, you know. Projectiles doctors hate this small trick, I suppose. That makes them immortal. Anyway, let me grab that level up because level ups currently are very much needed. Yeah. Anyway, for the most part of this run, at least the early game, we will be getting carried by sword. You know? Yeah, that's just how it works. But we will be removing some things here and there. Like, we don't really care about dash distance, really. So, I believe starting at the next map, we will be firing magic missiles randomly at enemies. Not actually at enemies, we will be firing them randomly in random directions, almost. Like, most of them will go towards the direction I'm looking at, and that's a lot of drops. But anyway, most of them will go into the direction I'm looking at, which will be a bad direction to throw projectiles in general, you know. But yeah. So, there we go, our first speed downgrade of hopefully many. And I guess damage upgrade is nice. We do really care about projectile size in this very specific scenario, which is fun. And I believe it would be nice to have Vampirus, perhaps even an Elder Vampire, because we don't care about most of our Legendaries in this very weird magic missile build, you know. Now that I'm thinking, would it be better most of the time with magic missile to lower its speed so it lasts for a longer time? I don't know. I don't really know if high speed is a good thing, but the thing is, most of the time we are going for magic missile, we like getting. I would like getting spirit missile. I still haven't gone a spirit missile build on the channel yet, did I? Well, there we go. Second speed downgrade. Now our magic missile is half of the speed they will need to be to acquire a spirit missile in the first place. You know, they are slow. Not that slow. You know, this is still better than that build that I made rain have a much negative duration, like a very negative duration, minus 20 seconds. If I remember correctly. Yeah, that build took a lot of boosts before it got good. You know, this build will also take a lot of boosts before it gets good, and a few legendaries too. Ouch, that hurt. Don't do that again. There. Oh, you didn't die to the bug. There we go. We got mushroom cap, and we got the speed down to the number. Actually, I believe a spell chance there is a little bit better of an upgrade. See, we are firing some fat magic missiles towards our enemies. There are two reasons why I opted for that thing there. Actually, having negative speed wouldn't be that bad because most of the time I am facing away from my enemies. You know? Anyway, like I was saying, I like having the speed gradually go down instead of just making it go down with legendaries, you know, with purple upgrades. There we go, we hit one. You know, most of the time we won't, because we will be moving away from our enemies, you know, but that's fine. Very questionable build, not gonna lie to you, but a build nonetheless. In this situation, I believe, yeah, we'll be able to hit some enemies with our things. Crown of Swords would be nice. You know, as soon as there are enemies within our radius, our threat radius, we will be start pooping projectiles, you know. Excuse me, video game, can you please, yeah, do something? Okay, I am starting to get worried about my survivability, which is not great in a round that I have vampirism and high regen and some armor, you know, but the fact is I cannot kill enemies, even if that means my, you know, this is almost a pacifist run, which I wonder what would be a pacifist run in this game. Like killing the enemies in the most humane way, and I think in this game, I don't think there is a way of making a pacifist run in this game. Oh, I forgot to disable that. Great, very nice. Anyway, let's keep going with the murder spree. I need to have a list of things I have to do before I start recording, right? Setting up the lighting and disabling notifications, those kinds of stuff. Specifically WhatsApp and Discord, they are the main culprits here. You know, they are usually the main suspects. let's say... Yeah, more spell chance? I mean, more armor would be the correct thing to do there. Now that I come to think of it, this size increases rather quickly, doesn't it? Like 3, and at each step. But I believe spell chance is the right thing to do right now. You know? Because it means more projectiles, even though most of them don't hit. I fire a lot of them now. I sure do fire a lot of them. But they are too fast for them to hit. You know? Let's see. Oh, yeah. Slower projectiles. We already got 4 of the upgrades towards making them landmines. And as you can see, they have a very higher accuracy right now. Totally not related to my capability of aiming them this time around. And also, it is easier to aim them when they are more reliable. Which they currently are, very much more reliable than they were. They were very unreliable, but now we got about 20%, about 1 in 5 really. Attacks creates one of these, and it might be interesting to note that most of our attacks hit multiple enemies. So, honestly, that's 1 in 2-ish. But right now, against these enemies, having them be landmines wouldn't be that useful. Anyway, there we go. Slower projectiles. Now they are moving slowly. Like they are going very slowly. I cannot outrun them yet. But let's see. I have 58 speed. So I get with the next... I can already upgrade... I can already outrun them. Even though they have 75 speed. What's wrong here, game? Am I getting scammed? I know, units don't mean the same thing. But I honestly expected if I had only 58 speed, you know, I expected to run at the same speed of the projectile if I got 50-50, you know. I don't know. I am not being clear at all. So let me go back to the drawing board with that phrase. Basically, I expected the character speed to match projectile speed units. Because many of the distance units match, you know. But that isn't the case here. Like, the distance units... So I believed that speed number was like distance per second, but... I mean, I could be wrong. I've been wrong before. You know? Sometimes it feels like I've been wrong way too many times before. Let's get minus speed there. Even though there was 20% spell chance looking at me, I believe having less speed is a little bit more interesting. And see, now some enemies chasing after me, they will be able to kiss some projectiles. We are almost at landmine speed, you know. Perhaps this speed, perhaps having some speed on our projectiles wouldn't be that bad, but honestly, we went too far. Have I deleted knockback on this thing? Because I might need to, or perhaps make it negative. Because right now, enemies chasing me get a little bit of a boost because they are always knocked in the direction of the thing. I might need to remove our knockback or even reverse it, just so that our enemies are not punched towards us. I hope that gets fixed if I get negative speed on my projectile. You know? Or perhaps 0 speed. I hope. I really hope that gets fixed. So anyway, this build is not particularly strong, you know, as you can probably tell. We are at 50 speed, so 2 boosts to go, or perhaps 1 single green boost is enough to get us to where we want to be, which is a 0 speed, at landmine speed, you know. And the projectiles currently last for a very long time, which is nice. You know, I would like them to be bigger. There is a problem there, which is... Honestly, this is more of a suggestion, probably not to this version of the game, but to future boosted survivors, if there ever is such a thing. You know, the suggestion would be to make our projectiles different than our enemies. Because right now, they are very much the same. And I know the projectiles fired from wiggies are different, you know. They look different than ours. So, I know the technology is there, you know. It is probably just a matter of changing some asset color or something. You know, like that one. I don't really remember if I fired that one or if it was some enemies. I can tell more or less based on their size, but I need to make a consideration. You know, I can't make that decision in a split second. So I try to avoid all of them, and it is sometimes hard to prioritize avoiding enemies' projectiles instead of our own. Anyway, see this projectile here. Oh yeah, there is another thing. Our projectiles don't seem to rotate. Yeah, enemies' projectiles rotate. There is a difference, actually. There is a good difference. I can use that to my advantage. At least, they don't seem to rotate right now. Perhaps if they got homing, they could. Like they always face the direction they are going towards. Perhaps? I have no idea. Speed, there we go. We are 1 boost away from landmine speed, which is 0, but we are fairly close. And as you can see, our projectiles are almost still in place, you know? Enemies walk into them pretty regularly. And we need to do something about that knockback quick. Or else we will have some troubles, you know? I should not have done that. Thankfully, I got to do that with no consequence. But honestly, if this run works, it is mostly a testament to Mushroom Cap. Because it was able to save us from whatever we were trying to do, okay? It was able to save us from our ideas. That's... Honestly, props to Mushroom Cap for saving us. You know, because I took one of the worst spells in the game and made it worse somehow. Okay. And then, like... And it is still able to do something? I don't know. It is not doing much right now. It's killing some enemies. But the thing is, Magic Missile right now does 370-ish damage. My attack does 340 damage per hit, you know? So, I don't know how much it is just raw sword, being sword and being very overpowered. Not overpowered, but honestly, the sword is a weapon. We'll get this thing. I need some carrying power here. And I'll probably die next map. But that's fine. Let's see what legendaries this Colossus guy is able to bring to the table. Anyway. The thing is, the sword is very good at doing this, specifically this. Carrying bad spells, you know, until they're good. Yeah, that is the sword speciality. The sword isn't that cool to make some zany builds late game, but the sword is good to make some funky builds early game. Like some funky builds that will be interesting late game. They need to last through the early game, you know, and the sword basically enables that. Because otherwise, if there wasn't this, if I had to do this with a Qatar, I would probably be, I would have two options. Either I would need to spend some very big amount of boosts in the Qatar, so it, well, is able to carry us, because the Qatar isn't, most of the time, able to carry us. Multi-projectile, that's fun. I won't say that isn't fun, you know. That just basically makes our landmines more powerful. I don't know if I want that though. Them to be simply more powerful, because projectile spread doesn't really matter. They won't be moving, but they will be multiple times more powerful than it currently is. Which is something. You know, I'll pick it because there are... Oh, there we go. Negative. No, I will not be changing the knockback right now. Honestly, if I were to be responsible right now, I would be getting armor. I'm not. Oh, I've got some armor in the end there. Okay, there we go. We have some very weird stuff happening here. Which are, yeah, those stuffs. With enough projectiles, we don't even need to reduce the speed even further, you know. We might want to change the knockback of our attack sooner rather than later, but that's fine. See, that's a lot of projectiles, you know? That's a lot of damage. If you look at that way. And I am looking at that way, you know? If an enemy steps on one of those landmines, it will be hurt. Look at that. They are not landmines yet. They were not landmines yet. They currently very much are. There we go. We have landmines. That reduces the efficacy of my thing even further. You know, because, well, a single enemy steps on those and they vanish. Because of how projectiles work in this game. You know. Which is very much to the detriment of the landmine build. That's one of the reasons I didn't want to get multiple projectiles, but at the same time it helps. Like, if I ever get an enemy to step on the landmine, it's dead. You know, it is very accurate landmine behavior. Okay. The only issue right now is that it doesn't have AoE. That's related to it. You know? And, well, one of every 4 attacks I do, almost, I produce one singular landmine unit. I kill one enemy, basically, if they step on it, if they get to step on it. And I instantly go through full HP, because, well, this deal a lot of damage, and all of that damage is getting life stealed. Certainly. I don't need more damage nor more projectiles on the landmine. Perhaps more projectiles is nicer, so I can proc stuff. The only stuff I really want to proc is lightning. And honestly, it isn't really a proc, because my favorite, the best lightning thing I can have is that lightning missile that I forgot the name of. I believe the name is lightning missile. You know, I'm basically playing tackies at this point. There we go. It is funny. You can't take that away from me, and they last forever. Like until someone steps on them, and I believe they are cleared between rounds, which is a bummer. I mean, Wiggies are not cleared between rounds. Why are these? You know, but I guess for a lag standpoint, like if I move, these guys move, and if they move, they step on landmines and they are instantly dead. I don't care about spread, but I very much care about size. I also don't care about knockback. Oh, my chin is bleeding. Let me see if I can get that on camera. I can't. Good. Anyway, I don't think I will be changing speed anymore. Like, but I will keep it there just to test a few things about negative speed soon. We can survive a wave with negative speed, and we can give up 2 boosts in the name of science, can't we? The thing is, we want to even be able to test what we are currently wanting to test, because the projectiles will not go through the full 300-ish distance that they currently have. 300 distance. Like, they would take, if distance is linear with everything, with calculations, they would take 12 seconds in order to disappear. If they would disappear with negative speed, which they might not, you know. So let's get negative speed next time we offer it to see, to test if that means projectiles lasting forever. If it does so, great. If it doesn't, well, alright. I will survive. I will revert them back into landmines if it doesn't, though. This is a lot of damage, as you can probably tell. Look at that. They step into a landmine and they are instantly vaporized. Yeah, let's go. Minus 25 speed. Let's see what this gives us. They are moving into the opposite direction that I was looking towards, which is predictable. And I don't know if they are vanishing. I don't think so. And I am very much vanishing right now, in the sense that I'm dying, because I've elected to make some tests and look at the projectiles instead of looking at my own character. So we have some time. Let's watch those projectiles there. Right? And get the level up. There is a fall. Yeah, they do disappear. But honestly, I don't think I care. They last a long time. But this is a magic missile build. It's not a landmine build. I am split, really, between magic wall, moving magic wall, and the other alternative, which would be landmines, you know? Because moving projectile walls is certainly stronger. Ouch, how did the enemy get to me like that? This is basically firewall on steroids, you know? Actually, just regular firewall from boosted survivors. But the fact that it's being cast on the head and dealing instant damage is changing it. Let's go back to landmines. Even though it's worse. It's certainly worse than what we have going on right there. You know, it is the spirit of the build. Ouch. Yeah, it is so much worse. Having Pierce here would be like Pierce or Split. Preferably both. I don't know how Split would work here. If the projectiles would move after splitting, or if it would be only a single, or if it would be just more damage. You know. I don't think they would move because regularly split projectiles retain the original velocity of the original. I do not know why I got projectile count there. It certainly does not. It's not needed because there is no way one enemy survives stepping on a landmine, you know. But it is what it is. Oh no, they're going towards the end of the screen that I can't see that much because of lighting. Because of the giant light behind it. These elephant things step on landmines quite frequently. So either my projectiles are invisible to them, or they don't really care about stepping on landmines. Both cases could be true, really. They often step on bogs in order to get me, so I wouldn't be surprised if they would step on landmines too. So Crown of Swords would basically mean that we create one landmine every second. You know. One very strong landmine every second. I'm thinking. What else could be good here? Well, lightning projectile, or even SSS battery. That would be good too. You know, what wouldn't be good? Well, stunning rolls would be useless because no enemy survives stepping on a landmine. You know, I don't really care if my landmines stun because Pierce would be very good because multiple enemies could step on the same landmine. You know. Let's move a bit so they step on the landmine and they take a full circle of damage. Yeah, thank you. So what wouldn't be good here? Well, a lot of things. Homing projectiles wouldn't be that useful. Can I deal with this lugger? Oof! It gets knocked back. It got knocked back pretty far. There is another thing about these landmines. They contain the summed knockback of all of those projectiles, which is strong. So my number one priority here would be Pierce. My second one would be something that generates lightning on projectile, so I can preferably both. That would be best case scenario, mostly because, hear me out, we could create a projectile that it explodes. It has negative knockback, so enemies are knocked into it, right? And the explosion has negative knockback, so it sucks enemies into it, and it can hit multiple enemies. That would be the dream scenario, really. So, we got SSS battery. But honestly, yeah, I am gonna regret this, ain't I? Yes, I did. Great. I'll get the Elementalist so that I am somewhat resistant to damage, because I very much will need to be. Yeah, I should have gotten that thing there, but I wanted Pierce so badly. You know, I really wanted my landmines to, well, hit multiple enemies. That, honestly, it would make more sense for my landmines to explode in lightning. And almost all of them would. Because, well, they hit enemies how many times? Let me count. Let me figure out. 15 times. For a low damage of... It is low, but most damage multiplied by 15 is a big damage, you know. Like, most numbers multiplied by 15 have enough damage to kill some enemies in this game. You know, Most triple-digit numbers certainly do. So even if I didn't upgrade even a single time, that would be the case. Sadly, we cannot make these projectiles hit other projectiles. That would be fantastic. You know, let's start upgrading their size every time it shows up. That would be fun. Or spell chance, yes, more of them. More of them. So every 3 hits, we create a thing, a landmine, which kills 1 enemy. That's a lot of landmines, it seems. Oh, double damage. Oh, that doesn't really help. You see, this build isn't that good. However, it had its merits, okay? The best knockback from my lightning would be -1 knockback, but I don't really know if I'm getting that. Well, I got Elementalist now, so upgrading it would be easier. So there is that. I don't really care about health, range, attack speed, all of that stuff. Health, I care a little bit more. We got 1 projectile linger from the last wave, which that is because it shows up after we have killed the last enemy. So we got it. Most of the landmines are getting used, which is nice, you know? Look at that. I don't think, though, having more than 100% spell chance would be good. Actually, I don't even think having more than 50% would be good. Because most attacks of us, they generate 1 landmine, right? Perhaps it would be good to upgrade attack speed. Because now I'm thinking, and think with me here, Crown of Swords would generate 1 very strong landmine, but still 1 landmine every second, right? Because that landmine would probably be comprised of multiple procs of the thing. But it's still just 1 landmine, it can only kill 1 target, you know? So, yeah, having more attack speed is the best way to proc this thing, I think. You know? It is a funny build, I'm not gonna lie to you. It is not strong, in any sense of the word strong. I will not be changing speed. I will be resistant that I will get more attack, will get more projectile chance, or landmine chance, I suppose. And we are picking Elementalists here, mostly because this build is very questionable, at best. So we need its help. There are enemies surviving the landmine? Is that so? No, that can't be the case. Yeah, that's probably not the case. There are just enemies being thrown around by bats. The amount of landmines I generate is very much fun, and I got very scared by one right there. Because, well, I went back to the center and I got very next to a projectile, and I didn't remember firing it because, well, it lasts forever, so... Yeah, landmines into the bog, that is precisely what the bog needs, right? My sword is probably doing a little bit more than the landmines for now, but I don't know. As enemies get more and more health, the landmines usually do more to their health. And I believe, while I do believe that some bosses might survive landmines, one landmine, you know? I don't think they will survive multiple. The problem will be getting them to step on those, because most bosses in this game are ranged. And I will need a ton of boots in order to make those landmines big. But it's fun, the amount of knockbacks I'm generating, you know? Having more attack speed would be nice. Having a Qatar here would low-key be not bad. However, having a Qatar also means that I would have to survive the early game with said Qatar, which would be very much bad. You know? Therefore, I have elected to not... This is very fun, the amount of landmines. These bets stand no chance, really. With that amount of landmines. And props to multi-projectile for making my landmines deadly. Otherwise, my landmines would be very much not deadly right now. So, yeah, I can make him walk, but I won't do that. That's ugly, you know? The remove size is something it hasn't shown up in a while. They are double the initial size, you know, but with a big enough size, they can hit multiple enemies at the same time. And that's what I'm looking towards right now. I'm looking towards making everything clear, okay? Just trying to be clear here. Oh, this is a melee-only build. A melee-only wave. That's nice. Yeah, the objective here is to transform every spell in the game into clear. Because clear is objectively the strongest spell in the game. Therefore, our objective is to make everything like it. You know? If we can't get a clear, no matter how weird... Oh, enemies are surviving the landmines. That's why there are so few of them. Oh, I need to increase their damage. That's fine. One boost should last me a long while, actually. I don't like the dark maps. The dark map. Anyway, let's increase the projectile count a little bit. And I want one damage boost too, to accompany that if I can. Yeah, the landmines, I feel they won't be that useful in this wave. You know? I killed one enemy with the landmine, which is more than I expected, to be honest. So the tanky enemies are surviving a single landmine, which is bad. At least they were. I've increased the damage a little bit of the landmine, but they probably will still survive because I've increased it by increasing the projectile count. In the bad way, I suppose. The good way would be to properly increase the damage. And the better way would be to acquire lightnings, you know, and upgrade them. That would be the very best way. But this way, increasing damage like that is good enough. And we got a singular landmine from the last wave. Oh, the fire enemies are back. I did not miss you guys. You know. If only their fire would light up the place a little bit. That would be a little bit better. Yeah, why don't my enemies and my projectiles create small lighting things? You know, that would be a thing to implement. Not saying it would be hard, but it would be another thing to the scope of the game. I know why they didn't do that, but at the same time, you know, that's perhaps the reason my games take forever in order to get done. You know, because I worry about such minute details, which honestly don't do much for the game itself. You know. Ouch. There is a big blob of enemies into the center of the map, which very much makes my life a little bit difficult. But I can work them. I can fix them, I suppose. The fact that they exist, I mean, is what I want to fix. Ouch. Those landmines weren't enough, or were they? Come on here. Die to the landmines. You guys. Anyway, since we are not putting any signs here, I believe this is a war crime. Not the only war crime we have committed in this game. You know. This game is mostly about fun ways of committing war crimes. I am really... By the way, this is the first attempt of doing this landmine builds. I am starting to think it is stronger than regular magic missile, you know? And I know it isn't, but statistically, I have played a lot of magic missile and I lost a lot of magic missile runs, and this is the first one I try with landmines, so therefore landmines must be stronger, right? Yeah, you can argue with that, but you shouldn't, you know, because, well, yeah, you shouldn't argue with that because this is the most fun option. Also, that spitter will be very much problematic for me because I don't think the guy is stepping on landmines, and I can see its projectiles outside of darkness. It would be cool, though, if darkness would be like this for every one, not just for me, like completely invisible. Or if perhaps the boost could, the drop, the things could have a little bit, the drops in general could have a little bit of a lighting to them. You know, because it is a little bit unfair for me that I get to not see anything. Oh, the boss killed itself. Actually, the bats killed the boss. Thank you, bats. You know, I also think it wasn't fair that he wouldn't die to landmines, while you are the ones who died the most. So, yeah, that's why you killed him, right? It isn't fair. It sent you to war, while... Let's make a very small circle of landmines around this guy. So lightning bolt is the best thing it could ever happen to us. You know. We want lightning radius. There we go. Now our landmines explode. Okay. As you can probably see. Ouch. They lag my game a lot when they do so. But that's fine. It's their right to, I suppose. Ouch. They really lag my game a lot when they do so. Why am I not popping enough of them? It almost feels like I am creating less landmines now. Perhaps the game is worried about itself. I would. You know, let's make their explosion radius a little bit bigger. Because it is very much an instant kill for most enemies. Ouch. Like, for the tanky enemies, they will get knocked away a lot. They probably won't get killed immediately. Right now, I could increase lightning damage. That would be a total overkill. But I will. Don't worry about that. I will certainly do so. And this have reduced the number of landmines that I'm generated quite a lot. Because now I don't have that many enemies to hit. Because my landmines kill all the melee enemies that I face, which is actually a good thing, but You know, I almost wish at least the lightning things were a little bit different. And yeah, let's increase their size even further. And the spell chance. So now they're big. You know? I don't think I've gotten pudding this run. They're a little bit big. They're not like the biggest thing in the things in the universe. You know, but honestly, it's good enough. Because if one enemy steps on them, the explosion kills everything around. You know? In the end, this is just another way of making a lightning build. You know? A very stupid one. I will not. I will concede that to you. You know, lightning damage. Actually, we don't need lightning damage right now. We need more like... Yeah, the charger is a step. We need more lightning radius. So once something steps on a landmine, everything is dead. And we need more actual size of the thing. So that they can... Basically, I want no melee enemy to be able to hit me if I'm inside one. You know? That way I can be safe. Unless I am facing a ranger only run, wave. Then I am not safe. Excuse me, could you, like, walk into some landmines? That would be fantastic. Yeah, thank you. I will not be getting more projectile count, I believe. We have gotten to a number where getting more of it is problematic, you know. It is potentially problematic. Nor I will be getting more spell chance. We are at 59. Let's get... We are at 49. Let's get to 51. Just so that most of our attacks create landmines, but I don't think we'll be going any past that for safety reasons, you know. Honestly, I need my PC to be safe, you know. Yeah, I believe that number is a good number. And honestly, that's mostly because I'm planning on getting Chrono Swords. I can get very close to enemies and then hit them. So let's remove projectile counts. We are at 17 right now. It is a nice prime number. You know, like 51 isn't. And once a landmine triggers, I am instantly at full health. You know, because it deals so much damage. And damage is calculated before checking if the enemies are dead. So every single one of those lightnings, they very much do trigger. You know. Am I... Wait a second. Oh, yes, Elementalist increases how much spell chance do I get. That's why I could be at an infinite number. That's interesting. That's interesting. Let's increase their size. Let's make big landmines that make big explosions go. Yeah, that's the whole thing. Let's increase the amount of explosives involved. You know, we're walking towards nuclear landmines territory. And that is precisely what we want. You know, why would we stop at one Warrcrime if we can't commit multiple at the same time, you know? That just makes more sense. So why would I do regular landmines if I can get nuclear ones instead? Right? I mean, they are not that invisible. So I don't think they wouldn't be considered a landmine for per se, would they? I don't care about any of this. Can I, like, have a removal button here that removes everything else? Like... Yeah, I really don't care about most of these. Twins. There we go. Oh, it stepped on the landmine almost immediately. and got knocked back somewhere. And that guy got knocked back into another landmine and still survived. That's a testament of how much we need bog in this game. You know, because it is the only way of killing some bosses reliably. Honestly, if it wasn't for bog, some runs would be impossible. So we could get Elemental Master, which would be all very powerful, but we could get landmines hitting hitting the same targets over and over, which, honestly, yeah. Buddy, there we go. We got rearming landmines. Okay, if regular landmines weren't cursed enough. And we got pudding, which could mean that we got, I don't know, the battery that I actually... Now that I think about it, this thing is ridiculous. And you will see why in a second. You know? Very soon, indeed. You will see why. Take a look. The thing is, yeah, it lags my game, I know, but I basically made cascade mines, okay, because the lightning from lightning thing is considered part of the thing, okay, the lightning from our, I forgot the name of it, oh god. From our landmine is considered part of an attack, right? And that lightning then triggers lightning. As a good lightning should, you know? Look at that, cascade mines. And that instantly lagged my game. Ouch, I'm dying because I'm not looking at the screen right now. Where are my enemies? Did I toss some enemy out? Yeah, they can't do much against the cascade mines. And I guess I can now increase... I don't really care about lightning damage at all, really. Nor pierce, really, because... Honestly... What's the chance of a single... What is worrying me here... is this. Like, so once one enemy steps into a landmine, every enemy is dead, right? We can have that. We have way too strong of a landmine generator. Great. That is precisely what I wanted. We didn't even need the everything. Most of it. We didn't even need that many projectiles, since that's how it works, right? It is multiplied by a lot of numbers. I don't even know what's happening here. I'm a little bit afraid. Not gonna lie. Please, step on that big landmine. There we go. Oh, purple lightning radius. Yeah, precisely what I needed. We didn't even need the pierce, but we have it. As soon as a single enemy steps into the landmine, everything is dead. I just need to know when the game stops lagging out. So that I can dodge again, you know? And this is still worse than Cascade, by the way, because Cascade deletes projectiles. This one doesn't. You know? So, standing right here should make it so that Did the enemy take damage from... I don't care, really. You know, if he wants to take damage from that, sure. You know, he is responsible for himself. I have no idea of what's happening. I have no idea what's happening. Actually, I have a very specific idea of what's happening. You know? But at the same time, I am a little bit frightened of it. Yeah. That works. Let's increase the size of the landmine a little bit further. You know. Now, I don't think a melee enemy can find us here. We are stealthily hidden behind the landmine. We had a nuclear landmine, by the way. Thankfully, there is no friendly fire in this game. Otherwise, we would be dead very fast, you know. I made a drawing here for you guys. It is a very low resolution drawing. I know. There we go, I made it asymmetrical. Anyway, there is that guy. What's happened? Okay. The thing is, I still need to avoid the projectiles because they very much can kill me in the given state. I almost regret taking that secondary lightning thing, you know? Almost. They look like coins, don't they? Am I the only one who sees coins in the magic missile attacks? I don't know if that boss is dead. You know, that's a lot of lightning if that's the case. Or he just finished somewhere else. The thing is, since everything is computed at the same tick, and we don't let the enemies die before they can properly chain react, we got a lot of chain reaction going on. Like, way more chain reaction than Cascade would have, for instance. Yeah, we certainly need stunning rolls. That is something we certainly need. Thing is, this is Chill KVs, this is Chill KVs, this is Chill KVs, this is Chill KVs, and this is Chill KVs. So even though none of these is really useful, I'll get Guardian Belt, I suppose. They are all the same amount of KVs, right? This is the most lethal, one of the most lethal waves for us. For our enemies too, I suppose. I think this is gonna crash. This may crash. I don't know. Ouch. That's a lot of damage, by the way. I'm life stealing 1% of that. So, if someone steps on the landmine, I get instantly full healed. Yeah. No, I will not be falling for that size thing anymore. I need more armor. Excuse me? Triggers? Thank you. What's happening? Yeah, honestly, I'm just playing techies, regular techies from Dota 2. You know? Actually, this is old techies specifically. You know? The ability to stack landmines in the same place. Yeah, this is very much old techies. Just with a little bit of increased radius. You know? Not that much. I believe there is an enemy outside of the screen right now. Yeah, okay, I will be waiting patiently for them. They decided to die. Honestly, I would too, if I was in that scenario. There we go. I need to avoid projectiles as soon as the game unlags. I took some damage there. I heard it. but I'm not sure how much. Ouch. A lot. The secondary explosions are very interesting. I mean, as long as there is a single single melee enemy, I'm fine, you know? I have enough armor so that I can survive a few hits. Oh. Yeah, we are certainly stacking some Warrcrimes here. This is certainly an abuse of force, right? An excessive force scenario. Even though they are actively trying to kill me. Because, look at that, the whole screen is yellow. And it's just for a single landmine, you know? At this point, Magic Mushroom isn't doing that much. I could be doing this by myself. Just going there, laying some landmines, you know? Oh. Okay, that my PC for a second was asking if everything was alright with Boosted Survivors. I guess so. Let's see if the recording is still going. Yes, it is. So there is a boss here. I need one landmine, please. Thank you. I do not know where the boss is, or could be. I do not know anything about the game, really. Windows once again is asking if the game is alright. This is taking a little bit too long. Okay, that's fine. I don't know if the boss is dead or if it is. No, it is there. It just died. I just died. Honestly, I deserved that. You know, I deserved I deserve every bit of it. You know, that was fun. Anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed this thing. If you like it, don't forget to leave a rating on that thing. And I hope to see you guys next time. Very long video though.